Good morning, gang. Happy Thursday. Okay, it's the economy, stupid, right? We've all heard that line. Or the one that Reagan coined, God, 40 years ago, 45 years ago at this point, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago, right? We're all used to economic questions. We all know, the American public, the world public, if you will, that inflation is kicking us in the butt. Of course, we hear from, at least here in the States, oh, the economy's strong, oh, we're doing well, I've lowered inflation, right? I've talked about that a million times. You can't take credit for fixing something that you broke in the first place. Right, Joe? I want to give you something. If you pay attention to your money, and I don't mean just the balance in your checkbook, but what the value of it actually is, I kind of want to try to explain this in a very layman's terms, I guess, if you will, for how to watch. If anybody paid attention, to what's going on, you keep hearing the Federal Reserve say, Jerome Powell say, Janet Yellen say, Joe Biden, the dollar's strong, the dollar's getting stronger, it's better, it's better, it's better, right? No, that's not true. It may look like it, okay, but it's not true. If anybody's paid attention to the world financial markets lately, you'd know what's going on with the dollar, okay? Now, you hear me talk a lot about the dollar index, right? And that's comparing the value of the dollar to the value of the euro, the British pound, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, yada, 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 okay? So it's a comparison. You're trying to compare two currencies. If anybody noticed yesterday, the Japanese yen hit the lowest it's been in 34 years, since 1990, okay? That ain't good. The Indian Rupee is pushing all-time lows. The Swiss franc is way down. The dollar versus the euro is down. I mean, if you remember, God, this goes back a few years now, you were getting nearly $2 per euro. Now you're getting about $1.07 per euro, okay? To give you an idea how the value of them all are going down. And yet, on the dollar index, we're trading around 104 right now. We've stayed in this 102 to 105 range for a good 6 months now. We were 115 a couple of years ago, just to give you an idea. Okay. The value of the dollar keeps shrinking. It's just not shrinking as fast as other currencies. When the world economy collapses, it's not going to happen in the United States first. Most economists think that the economy will collapse in Europe, and then that will have the trickle effect of collapsing around the rest of the world. Okay, that's what we're paying attention to. Japan is obviously not in Europe, okay, but Japan is something also to significantly pay attention to. All those of you who have Toyotas or Hondas or anything out in your driveway, yeah, okay, we still buy a lot of Japanese products. Oh yeah, that little bridge thing that we had go on in Baltimore, where do you think a lot of the cars get imported into the United States? Oh, that would be the Port of Baltimore. Okay. Now, you've also heard the stories for years upon years upon years that if you go back to the Depression, You could buy a quality man's suit for an ounce of gold. And today, you can buy a quality men's suit for an ounce of gold. Okay. You could go back to the 1960s and say you could buy a new Mustang for X amount of ounces of gold, and for the same X amount of ounces of gold, you could buy a new Mustang today, right? So I wanted to do a little bit of explanation here. And instead of comparing the dollar to the yen or to the pound or to the euro or whatever, I want to explain how the dollar compares to gold, because gold is something that is used everywhere in the world. I mean, honestly, when's the last time you bought anything in Japanese yen or in a euro or any other currency? But gold is the same value in the United States as it is in China, as it is in Australia, as it is in Poughkeepsie, all right? Doesn't make a lick of difference. So you think about it. When Joe Biden was inaugurated, January of 2021, okay, you could buy 1 ounce of gold for $1,865. As of yesterday, you could buy 1 ounce of gold for a little over $2,200. Spot price, not premiums included. Okay. So you start looking at that and you go, that's 15% thereabouts, $335, 16% maybe, that gold is increased. Well, sure, that's great if you own gold, because if you bought your gold 3, 4, 5 years ago, yeah, its value is up. Its spending power is the dollar, what you're buying stuff with, that's what's down. So if you talk about a ratio, gold was, the dollar was 1 to 1865. Now it's 1 to 2200. Your dollar has gotten weaker. Okay? That's it. It's not, the dollar isn't strong. The dollar is getting weaker. You could say, oh, gold is getting weaker, or gold is getting stronger. I'm sorry. No, the dollar is getting weaker. That's what's going on. So I did a little bit of comparison here, all right? And I looked at the most popular vehicle purchased in the United States, which is a Ford F-150. Okay, more F-150s are purchased than any other vehicle. And so I looked at what the new price of the base sticker, base model Ford F-150 XL, the base model price of a 2020 F-150, what the price would have been, because that would have been the new model on Inauguration Day. Then I compared that with the base model of the 2024 F-150. Now, granted, I will give you that technological improvements, there might, maybe now you have, I don't know, air-conditioned front wheels or some stupid stuff that they keep adding to the car. All right, I'll give you this. But on Inauguration Day, the base price of a Ford F-150 was $28,745. The price of gold was $1,876.50. So in order to buy a F-150 in gold on Inauguration Day, you would have had to spend 15 1/3 ounces of gold. Okay. Today, if you want to buy a brand new base model 2024 F-150, sticker is $38,565. The price of gold is $22.09, roughly, as I'm recording this. That means you would now need to spend 17 1/2 ounces of gold to buy the exact same vehicle. Okay. So you want to talk about inflation? Well, it's now costing you 2 1/4 more ounces of gold to buy the same vehicle that you could have bought 3 years ago. That will give you an idea of the drop in the value of a dollar. Okay. Now, you take 2.5 ounces of gold as opposed to 15. Okay, we're talking 18% thereabouts more in the price of the car in gold. Unless you listen to the price of the car in cash, which went up $10,000 from 28. So the price of the car in cash went up 30%. The price of the car in gold went up 18%. Interesting, huh? Okay. This is what I talk about when I talk about hedging yourself against inflation. This is what I talk about with protecting your money. Okay. Because if you just had all your money stuffed in the bank account, savings account, stuffed in the mattress, in your safe, whatever it would be, not the greatest idea. Some, absolutely. You need some sort of liquid reserves instantly that you can get to. Cash at home, sure. Cash in the bank, sure. But how much cash do you need? What kind of emergency is going to come up where you're going to need immediate cash? Okay. You blew an engine in the car, the transmission went out, your AC system, your furnace went out, your water heater went out, something like that. Okay, so you need to have a few $1,000s that you can access immediately. That, if all of a sudden something happens right now to me, I need to have cash this afternoon so I can pay for something, right? Sure, you could say you could take gold to a coin shop or whatever, but you're still playing something. The rest, you are losing money on. You are losing spending power on. And this is what myself and Rudy and Travis and Jason and God knows how many other preppers will tell you. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yes, have some cash. Have some gold. If you're a believer, which I'm not, have some crypto. Okay? Just pray to God the electricity doesn't go out. But this is the truth when you look at the comparison. Those are the numbers. Okay, as simply put as you can get them. The price of a truck went up 30% in cash. The price of a truck went up 18% in gold. Where would you rather have the money that you're going to buy that truck with? Or anything else? Your house, your air conditioner, your furnace, whatever. Okay. The reason for owning alternative currencies is not to, gee, gold's now $2,200, I made dollars. No, gold's now $2,200. The physical product that I need to get doesn't cost me as much as it would if I paid for it in dollars. That's the reason you're looking at precious metals, or for those of you who believe in crypto, those are the reasons for it. The world currencies, the fiat currencies, are failing. They will fail. $34 trillion in climbing is not sustainable. This is why countries around the world are, central banks are buying gold like crazy. They all know the fiat currencies are collapsing, and they're just trying to hold on long enough till they can protect themselves and screw you. Pinball out.